Hello children, how are you all? I hope that you all are having a great day. Today I am going to do a very interesting lesson. We are going to enjoy a very nice poem that is included in your GC O-level English literature syllabus. Let's see what's the poem you are going to enjoy. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. So these are some information about the poetess. Maya Angelou was born in Missouri, USA. The black people were discriminated in America because of their skin color. She grew up seeing her people being victimized when she was young. Maya Angelou's first autobiography was published in 1989. Angelou talks about the social discriminations and injustices faced by the underprivileged segments of society in the poem I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So here you have an activity. What you have to do, based on the two pictures on the screen, you have to write some words or phrases that come to your mind about these two birds. So think about these two pictures. So in one picture you can see there's a caged bird. In the other picture you can see a flying bird who is flying in the sky freely. So for the caged bird, let's see what are the words and phrases you can use. The caged bird is sad. Why? Because it can't go out. And the caged bird is angry. Why? Because it can't go out. It can't fly like any other free bird in the sky. So it feels lonely. Since it is in a cage, it feels lonely. And also it can't move freely because the cage is a limited space. So within that limited space it has to move. Then it might have no friends. But there is a plus point. It might get interesting food items to enjoy. So it doesn't need to go out and look for food items. So when it comes to the free bird, it is happy. Why? Because it can fly wherever it wants, whenever it wants. And also it is free. There is no cage, there is no limitation. And it can enjoy freedom. It can fly anywhere in the sky because it has freedom, and it might have friends also. But the problem is that the caged bird needs to find whatever it wants to eat. There is no one to supply food for the bird. So it has to fly to faraway places sometimes to find food items that it wants to have. But there the free bird has a choice. It can eat whatever it wants, but when it comes to the caged bird, it has to eat whatever it is given. So there is no choice. So those are the differences between the caged bird and the free bird. That's how the caged bird lives its life, and that's how the free bird lives its life. Those are the differences. So now you have another activity. You have to match these words with the given meanings. Let's see what are the words and meanings you have been given to do this activity. I am going to read the words for you. Lips, dares, trill, distant, breeze, grave, nightmare, clipped. Let's look at the given meanings. Tomb, a gentle wind, a frightening dream, jumps with great force, quivering sound, that means trembling sound, fasten with a clip, far, and to be brave enough. So you have to match these words with the given meanings. Let us see whether you can do it easily. So, these are the words and their meanings. Leaps means jumps with great force. Dares means to be brave enough. Trill means quavering sound, that is a trembling sound. Distant, that means far. Breeze, that is a gentle wind. Grave means tomb. Nightmare, a frightening, a terrifying dream. Clipped, fastened with a clip. Let us look at the title of the poem. I know, that means she talks about her own sufferings. Maya Angelou talks about her own sufferings in the poem as an Afro-American woman. Why? Why means the poetess knows well why the oppressed and the suppressed suffer. She knows exactly why the oppressed and the suppressed suffer. The caged bird. Caged refers to limitations, restrictions the underprivileged have to experience in a stratified society, in a socially divided society, in a divided society. Here it is about racial discrimination. The black or the Negroes were harassed and considered inferior by the ethnic extremist white community. Caged refers to limitations, or we call restrictions, the underprivileged have to experience in a stratified society, in a divided society, as the lower class, as the upper class, as the middle class, stratified society. Here it is about racial discrimination. The black or the Negroes. The Negroes was the term that was used during the time the white community practiced slavery in America. So, that was a derogatory term actually. Now, we do not use that term to refer to the black Americans. We say black Americans, we do not use that term anymore. The black or the Negroes were harassed, they were tortured, physically and mentally they were tortured and considered inferior by the ethnic extremist white community. Sings. What is singing here? There is a positive hope that one day the have-nots can have a better life free from worries. There is a positive idea in it. Sings. A bird needs to fly in the sky. When it comes to a bird, it needs to fly. Flying means freedom to the bird. So, the caged bird does not have that freedom. The caged bird does not have that opportunity to fly wherever it wants like the free bird. Let us look at the first stanza. A free bird flies high up in the sky. It leaps into the wind and floats down until high wind ends, dipping its wings in the sun rays, and it really sways happily. It claims the sky as it has power to dominate the whole sky. So, the free bird flies freely wherever it wants. It enjoys itself to the extreme. It can have fun the way it wants, and also it claims the sky as it has power to dominate the whole sky. That is why it is mentioned, and dares to claim the sky. It has power. The free bird has the privilege to claim, to own the sky as its own thing, as its own property. So, in this stanza, the tone is playful. There is no suffering in the free bird's life. There is no suffering in the free bird's life. It can enjoy its life to the fullest. It enjoys its freedom with happiness and contentment. The second stanza, let us see what is in the second stanza. There is a totally contrasting picture about the caged bird. But a bird which moves slowly inside a narrow cage can seldom see this free world through the bars of its prison. Both its wings are clipped and feet are tied, so it begins to chirp a sad song. But a bird which moves slowly inside a narrow cage, it's a narrow cage, there's no much space to move in that cage, can seldom, very rarely, see this free world through the bars of its prison. So it's like in a prison because it can't go out. Both its wings are clipped and feet are tied. So it begins to chirp a sad song. It begins to chirp a sad song because it's not happy in the narrow cage. Its wings are clipped and feet are tied also. It is living a sad life in the narrow cage. In this stanza, the tone is full of anger and bitterness. His bars of rage, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. Singing is the only possibility the cage bird has. The third stanza. Let's see what is in the third stanza. The song of the cage bird is complicated. It's not something easily understood. It sings in a fearful tune. It sings in a fearful tune, and it sings of the things unknown to it because the cage bird is in the cage. So it can't see the outside world. So it sings of the things unknown to it. But in the meanwhile, it may be expressing its willingness and hopes for freedom. It longs for freedom. It hopes that one day it can be a free bird. Its singing and its sorrowful tune echo and re-echo in the distant hill. In this stanza, the tone is full of frustration, full of sadness, full of disappointment, full of worries. The cage bird longs for freedom, to fly like the free bird in the sky. That is the dream of the cage bird, to fly like the free bird. Let's look at the fourth stanza. In the meanwhile, the free bird is waiting for another breeze, a gentle wind. It hopes that the strong winds that blow through the pine trees should be soft blowing, and with the first rays of the sun, the grass is bright. So the free bird is having a very happy life. The free bird knows among the grass it can find out its prey, the fat worms, and it thinks that it owns the sky. So the tone is positive in this stanza. Therefore, he says, and he names the sky his own. He names the sky his own. He has the power. The free bird has the power to name the sky as his own property. Let's look at the fifth stanza. But the cage bird is worried of its miserable state. It stands inside the cage and its shadow falls in the cage like nightmares. Since its wings are clipped and the feet are tied, it cannot fly like the free bird. Therefore, it sings sadly while being in the cage. So the cage bird is very worried and it is living a miserable state. It stands inside the cage and its shadow falls in the cage like nightmares, very frightening dreams. Since its wings are clipped and the feet are tied, it cannot fly like the free bird. Therefore, it sings sadly while being in the cage. But a cage bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. Let's look at the sixth stanza. The cage bird sings about the things that it does not know. The song is fearful and very powerless. It has a positive hope that it can be free one day and can fly like the free bird. So the cage bird thinks that one day it can fly like the free bird. For the cage bird sings of freedom. So the cage bird needs freedom to fly like the free bird in the sky. That's what the cage bird longs for. Let's see who the cage bird is. The cage bird represents the African Americans who had to suffer enormously because of slavery. The black Americans were enslaved by the privileged white Americans. There are the underprivileged layer, or the have-nots, or the poor in society, who don't have access to any comfort during their lifetime. They are deprived of enjoying the happiness of their lives and human rights. They are considered inferior to the privileged class. They are compared to the cage bird, which always sighs and cries and longs for freedom. Who is the free bird? In the poem, the free bird represents the privileged white Americans. Some people enjoy all the luxuries available in their society. They have wealth, status, social recognition, and power to change any aspect of society. There are the underprivileged layer, or the have-nots, or the poor in society, who don't have access to any comfort during their lifetime. They are deprived of enjoying the happiness of their lives and human rights. So, who are the underprivileged layer in our society? They are the people who don't have access to have enough food. Sometimes they don't have even houses. So, they don't have access to basic human needs. They are the underprivileged layer in society. So, who are the privileged layer? They are the people who have all the luxuries in the world. Even in Sri Lanka, there are the have-nots, the poor. They don't have houses. Sometimes they don't have enough food to eat. And also, there are the privileged layer, the rich people. They can enjoy whatever they want, the way they want. They have access to any comfort in the world. So, here the underprivileged layer is represented by the cage bird. The privileged layer is represented by the free bird. So, they are considered inferior to the privileged class. They are compared to the cage bird, which always sighs and cries and longs for freedom. So, the poor, they always cry. They have sufferings. They suffer a lot. They need to find enough food to eat. They need to have their own houses. So, always they are sad. They are like the cage bird. But the free bird, the privileged layer, they have all the comforts in the world. They can enjoy their life the way they want. Who is the free bird? In the poem, the free bird represents the privileged white Americans. They have the power to do whatever they want. Some people enjoy all the luxuries available in their society. They have wealth, they have status, they have social recognition and power to change any aspect of society. They can change any aspect of society because they are privileged, they have power, they have freedom to do whatever they want in their society. They are the so-called privileged haves. They have power, they have freedom, so they are privileged. They rule the world under their influence, owning the whole sky. So, here the sky refers to the world. So, in the whole world there are free birds. They can enjoy anything they want the way they want. They can even change their society because they have power, they have wealth, they have social recognition, and also they have freedom to do whatever they want. Let us look at the techniques in the poem. The first technique I am going to talk about, symbols. The cage bird. The cage bird represents the oppressed and the suppressed in the world who suffer due to various kinds of social injustices such as wealth, class, caste, racism, religion, gender, or political ideologies. The cage bird represents the oppressed and the suppressed in the world. So, the cage bird represents the poor, the have-nots in the world, who don't have access to any kind of comfort in their life, like the privileged layer in the world. So there are different kinds of social injustices that can happen to them. It's wealth, it's about money. The poor, they don't have money, so they can't eat whatever they want. They can't have luxurious houses. And class. Class also matters in some instances. The lower class and the upper class. The lower class people can't enjoy their life because they don't have enough money, they don't have enough wealth. But the upper class people, they have enough wealth, so they can have any fun they want. And caste also, that also a problem in some countries. Caste matters. Sometimes when it comes to marriage, it matters. And racism, which is a very big problem. And religion. So sometimes people use religion to divide, to stratify the society. And also gender, being a man or being a woman matters in some cases. In some countries, the way the men and women are treated is different. And political ideologies. People have different kinds of political ideologies. They have different kinds of political perspectives. So sometimes because of those political ideologies, they fight with each other. So there are some conflicts in those kind of societies where they have various kinds of political ideologies. The cage bird song, it's a symbol of freedom. It sings for freedom. So the cage bird song is a symbol of freedom. The free bird, it represents the haves who enjoy freedom and all kinds of privileges in the world. They can have fun the way they want because they have wealth, they have social recognition, they have power, they have freedom to do anything that they like. The cage refers to the countries in which people are not allowed to enjoy freedom or merely prisons. In some countries, based on certain factors, maybe wealth or social recognition, caste or class or gender or political ideologies, based on those factors, based on those social injustices, some countries, based on those factors, people are not allowed to enjoy freedom the way they want. The sky is the kingdom of freedom. So for a bird, the sky is the kingdom of freedom. Then we have metaphors. The cage bird is the black or the Negroes, the derogatory term that was used during the time of slavery was practiced in America. The Afro-Americans or the black Americans, the unprivileged, those who don't have access to enough food or to have luxurious houses. The free bird, they are the white, it represents the white Americans or free people or the privileged layer in society. They have power, they have recognition, they have wealth. The bars of rage, the bars of rage are the anger of the cage bird. The cage bird's freedom has been completely restricted or limited to these bars. The cage bird is angry because it can't go out, because it can't enjoy the life the way it wants. It can't enjoy the life like the free bird enjoys its life. Therefore, it's full of anger. The only thing it can do is to sing, to raise its voice, to say the social injustice that has happened to the bird. The grave of dreams. This is the thinking pattern of the caged bird. The dreams of the caged bird are limited to just dreams. The dreams are eventually and ultimately reduced to a grave. Since the caged bird does not have enough power, since the caged bird does not have enough freedom to enjoy its life, it has only dreams, but those dreams cannot be realized because it doesn't have enough power to make them come true. So it's a pathetic situation for the caged bird. It has dreams, but it can't make those dreams realized because it doesn't have power, enough privilege to make those dreams come true. Then we are going to look at visual imagery. A free bird flies high in the sky and suddenly swoops down it floats in the wind, and sometimes it shoots down and perches on a tree. It chirps in a sweet tone. So, you can create a visual imagery in your mind, a beautiful imagery about a free bird who is enjoying its life to the fullest in the sky. So, you can create that visual imagery in your mind, a beautiful visual imagery about the free bird who is enjoying its life to the fullest in the sky, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays. So, that is how the free bird enjoys its life. It dips its wings in the orange sun rays. So, it is enjoying its life to the fullest. The visual imagery created by the cage bird arouses our sympathy. The visual imagery of the cage bird causes much emotion. We are highly worried about the pathetic situation of it, its miseries and pathos. So, the cage bird's imagery arouses our sympathy. The reader sympathizes with the cage bird because it does not have a happy life. We are highly worried as readers about the pathetic situation, about the sad situation of it, its miseries and pathos, sadness, because the cage bird's life is full of sadness. Let us look at visual imageries. A free bird flies high in the sky and suddenly swoops down. It floats in the wind, and sometimes it shoots down and perches on a tree. It chirps in a sweet tone. So, here the free bird has all the enjoyment that it can have. It is going here and there, flying here and there, and enjoying its life to the fullest. So, through this visual imagery that you can create in your mind, you can create a picture about the free bird who is enjoying its life to the fullest in the sky, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays. So, the free bird dips its wings in the orange sun rays. So, it enjoys its life while having that sun rays, the warmth. So, that is how the free bird enjoys its life to the fullest in the sky as a free flying bird. The visual imagery created by the cage bird arouses our sympathy. What is sympathy? That means when you look at a cage bird, you feel so sympathizing with the bird. You feel that the bird is having a very sad life. The visual imagery of the cage bird causes much emotion. When you look at a cage bird, you feel so sad about its life, because once it had been a free bird. Now it has been caged. That means its freedom is limited. Now it can't fly in the outside world, in the outside sky. So, it is leading a very sad life. For an example, now most of you are at home without going to school. So, how do you feel about that? Maybe for 1 week or 2 weeks you were so happy that you were at home, but now you don't want to be at home. You are like in a cage, because when you go to school you can enjoy your life, you can talk with your friends, you can have a free life there, but now you are caged at home like the cage bird in the poem. We are highly worried about the pathetic situation of it. So, we are very much worried about the pathetic situation of the cage bird, because it does not have any comfort in the world. Of course, it gets some food, but still it is not happy, because having food is not enough to have a happy life. Having a nice place to live is not enough to have a happy life. We need to have choices to do whatever we want. That is how we can enjoy our life. So, the cage bird does not have that choice. It is limited to one particular place. The oppressed are trapped within a literal cage, but they are trapped in social prejudices and branded as inferior. Their struggle and agony can be heard as it brings the pathos or the sadness from the distant hill. The oppressed, the poor, are trapped within a literal cage, maybe based on their wealth, maybe based on their class, maybe based on their caste, or maybe based on their religion. They are trapped within a literal cage, but they are trapped in social prejudices and branded as inferior. So, the privileged layer, the rich, think they are superior, but the poor are considered as inferior because they don't have enough power, because they don't have enough freedom to change anything in the sky, because they don't have power to change anything in the society. Their struggle and agony, the suffering, can be heard as it brings the pathos or the sadness from the distant hill. The cage bird's life is full of sadness because it can't move freely, it can't go out, it can't fly like the free bird. So, its life is full of miseries and pathos. Fearful thrill, narrow cage stalks are some of the words and phrases used in the poem to highlight the sad life the cage bird is having. Then we are going to learn about auditory imagery. Auditory means you are hearing sounds, auditory imagery, and his tune is heard on the distant hill. Whose tune is this? It is about the cage bird's tune, and his tune is heard on the distant hill. So, we always, when we are in the outside world, when we are going along the road, or maybe when we are traveling in a bus, we can see the agony, the sufferings of the poor. Some beggars are coming and they are asking for some money. So, then we feel so sad about them. That is the oppressed layer in society. That is the suppressed layer in society, because they don't have enough money to eat whatever they want. So, we as empathizing audience, or we as empathizing human beings, we want to help them. Sometimes we tend to think, if I were a beggar, how would I feel about myself? Then we feel like doing something for them. We can give a little bit of money, we can give something to eat, but still their life is in the same situation. So, we need to do something for them. We need to do something to make their lives happier, because they are like the cage birds. They don't have any power, they don't have any money with them. The poetess compares this taunt to the voices of the oppressed. Their voices are heard throughout the nations. The voices are for freedom from all the social barriers. What are the social barriers? Maybe wealth, maybe caste or class, or political ideologies, or gender or religion that torture them. So, he opens his throat to sing, this is for hearing. So, the only thing the cage bird can do is singing, longing that one day it can be a free bird. So, the poor or the oppressed or the suppressed in our society, they raise their voices in different ways. So, we need to do something for them. Then we have tactile imagery, that means you feel in your heart the touch. On the back of the wind, in the orange sun rays, and the trade winds soft through the pine trees. So, these are some of the phrases that have been used in the poem as examples for tactile imagery. So, on the back of the wind, in the orange sun rays, and the trade winds soft through the pine trees. So, all those things are related to the free bird. It is enjoying the wind, it is enjoying the breeze in the orange sun rays, and the trade winds soft through the pine trees. The wind makes the free bird soothing and comfortable. The wind makes the free bird very comfortable. It feels so happy. The sun rays give warmth to the free bird. The sun rays gives a nice warmth to the free bird. So, it can have that warmth without any problem, without any restriction. But whereas the cage bird does not have any warmth like that. It is in the cage. It can't enjoy what is in nature. Soft wind is going through the pine trees. It gives the soft touch to the free bird. It lives a life full of happiness and contentment. The free bird is living a life full of happiness. It is so happy because it does not have any kind of worry. In your life, when you don't have any kind of worry, you are happy. If you can go to school again, if you can be with your friends, if you can play with your friends in the outside playground or in the school playground, then you are happy. There's no worry. And you are contented also, because you have been given, you have been provided enough facilities for you to have a happy life by your parents. So, soft wind is going through the sign trees. It gives the soft touch to the free bird. It lives a life full of happiness and contentment. The life of the free bird is contented because it doesn't have any kind of worry. Whereas in the caged bird's life, there are so many worries. It can't even move freely within the cage because its wings are clipped and feet are tied also. It can't fly in the outside sky like the free bird. Then let's look at repetition, or we call it refrain or chorus. This repetition highlights the suffering of the oppressed, arousing sympathy of the readers. The caged bird cannot move freely. Its freedom is restricted to the narrow cage. This repetition highlights the suffering of the oppressed, arousing sympathy. It arouses sympathy of the readers. The caged bird cannot move freely. Its freedom is restricted or limited to the narrow cage. That word is very important. Narrow cage. The cage is narrow. There is no much space for the caged bird to move in that cage. Flying is the freedom for a bird. Definitely, when it comes to a bird, flying is the freedom. But this bird, the caged bird, does not have that opportunity. So, through this repetition, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. So, this is not just about racial discrimination that Maya Angelou talks in this poem. It's about other kinds of social injustices also that are prevailing in the world based on wealth, caste, class, or gender, or maybe political ideologies. So, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied. It's about that the people don't have enough freedom to express their opinions. Maybe in Sri Lanka or in any other country, they can't express their opinions freely. Maybe due to political restrictions, or maybe due to any other kind of restrictions. So, therefore, their wings are clipped, their feet are tied. That means they don't have enough freedom to express themselves. That's what Maya Angelou talks in this poem. That's what she wants to highlight. There are the poor, the underprivileged layer in society, who need to give a chance to raise their voices. We as the society need to see what are the problems they have. That's what she talks in this poem. It's not just about racial discrimination. She uses that as a factor to give an awareness to the people to think about the pathos or the miseries of the poor. What we can do to reduce the pathos or the miseries of the poor in the world. We need to think about the poor always. We need to think about their sufferings. We need to do something for them. We need to empathize with them. The next technique I am going to talk about, personification. That means giving human qualities to something not human. The free bird happily dips its wings in the orange sun rays like a human being does sunbathing. The free bird happily dips its wings in the orange sun rays like a human being does sunbathing. Dips his wings. So, here the free bird is personified by using that phrase, dips his wings. So, here the free bird is happily enjoying itself in the orange sun rays like a human being does sunbathing. Let's look at the next example. Then the free bird is able to claim the sky as its own property like a powerful person in society. The free bird is able to claim, it has the power to claim the sky as its own property, like a powerful person in society. Dares to claim the sky. So, it has power, it has freedom to claim, to own the sky. So, claiming is something that is connected with human beings. So, here the free bird dares to claim the sky like a human being. That is the second example for personification. The caged bird opens its throat to sing. Singing is associated with human beings. So, here the caged bird is personified, giving human attributes. The caged bird is singing like a human being. That is, a human attribute is given to the caged bird. The caged bird is singing. So, he opens his throat to sing. So, it is singing. It is singing not about the happy life it has in the caged. It is not about that. It has a positive idea one day it can be a free bird. It longs for freedom. That is what it is singing. The caged bird opens its throat to sing. Singing is associated with human beings. So, here the caged bird is personified, giving human attributes. The caged bird has been given human attributes in the poem. So, he opens his throat to sing. Then we look at alteration, repetition of the same consonant sound. The caged bird cannot see the outside world properly like an imprisoned person. The caged bird cannot see the outside world properly like an imprisoned person. An imprisoned person can't see the outside world because it's in a prison. It can't go out. It's not allowed to go out. It's caged. So, like an imprisoned person, the caged bird can't go outside. It can't see what is in the outside world. It can see only what is there while being in the cage. Can seldom see through. So, here S is repeated. Can seldom see through. The consonant S is repeated here. The free bird can enjoy the luxuries in the world. The free bird can enjoy the luxuries, all the comforts in the world. That is highlighted by saying the fat worms are waiting. The letter W is repeated here. The fat worms are waiting. Who are the fat worms? They are all the comforts or the luxuries in the world. So, the fat worms are waiting. The free bird can enjoy the luxuries in the world. So, it can enjoy its luxuries to the fullest because the fat worms are waiting for it. All the luxuries and comforts are waiting for the free bird to enjoy. Then we have assonance. That means repetition of the same vowel sound. Assonance, repetition of the same vowel sound. The usage of vowel sounds in quick succession. That is the meaning of assonance. There is I sounds in distant hills, and sings with a fearful trill. There is I sounds in distant hills. You have the I sounds there, distant hills, and sings with a fearful trill. So, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill. It is afraid, it is frightening. It does not know what would happen when it sings. That is what the powerless people feel when they raise their voices. They do not know what would be the consequences of raising their voices in society. Then we have enjambment. That is another technique that has been used in the poem. A line that ends with O is being punctuated with another line without indicating a stop. Maya Angelou has so many thoughts in her mind. So, she wants to reveal all those thoughts in a very powerful way. So, there is a stream of consciousness here. Here we can see there is a flow of thoughts. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown. So, there is a flow of thoughts. the cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown. So, there is no full stop. So, the thoughts are flowing one after the other. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown. That is called enjambment. Rhyming words. So, what is end rhyme? The last word of a line rhymes with the last word of the next line. That is called end rhyme. So, there are some examples for you. Cage is rhymed with rage, cage, rage. Trill and hill are rhymed with still. Trill, hill, still. Trill, hill, still. Then lawn is rhymed with own. Loan, own. Loan, own. Bird is rhymed with heard. Bird, heard. Cage, rage. Trill, hill, still. Loan and own. Bird with heard. Those are end rhymes in the poem. The last word of a line rhymes with the last word of the next line. What is internal rhyme? There is something called internal rhyme. Both rhyming words are placed in the same line, or when they are placed in the middle of each line that follows after each other. Both rhyming words are placed in the same line, both words are in the same line, or when they are placed in the middle of each line, that follows after each other. A dawn, bright, lawn. In the same line, when they are placed in the middle of each line that follows after each other, that is called internal rhyme. A dawn, bright, lawn. Now, let us look at one of the very interesting techniques that is used in the poem. Careful usage of switching diction. Careful usage of switching diction, not just usage of switching diction, careful usage of switching diction. So, Maya Angelou is very careful to use different sets of words for the cage bird and the free bird. For the cage bird, she uses a list of words that is totally different from the words that she uses for the free bird. Careful usage of switching diction. She changes the diction. She changes the words that she uses for the cage bird, for the free bird from time to time. So, for the cage bird, she uses harsh and strong words. For the free bird, she uses more gentle words, more soothing words. The poetess has used some effective and influencing diction. Diction means careful usage of words such as stalks, narrow cage, clipped, tied, with a fearful trill, things unknown, grave of dreams, and night may scream. So, here the poetess uses stalks, walk slowly, because the cage bird is not happy, it walks slowly within the cage. And narrow cage, the cage is narrow. There is no much space for the cage bird to move inside the cage. Narrow cage. The word narrow emphasizes the limited space the cage bird has in the cage. Clipped and tight. It is clipped and tight also. That means it is limited, is restricted even within the cage. It is put in a cage, and also within the cage its wings are clipped and feet are tied. That means within the cage also its freedom is limited. With a fearful trill, it sings, but with a fearful trill. Why? Because it does not know what would happen when it sings. There may be some consequences for singing. So, it does not know what would happen after finishing singing. So, it has a fearful singing. It is afraid because it doesn't have any power. It's totally powerless within the cage. It can't do anything of its own. It's caged, it's prisoned. Things unknown. It can sing things that it doesn't know in the outside world, because it has not got any kind of freedom to go outside and see what is in the outside world. It can't fly freely in the outside world. So, the only possibility the caged bird has is to sing things unknown. It can sing only things unknown. Grave of dreams. So, the caged bird has dreams. The biggest dream it has is to become a free bird one day. But her dreams are grave. They are just graves. That means the caged bird does not have enough power to make her dreams realized. The caged bird doesn't have enough power to make its dreams realized. It doesn't have any power. It doesn't have any freedom to do whatever it wants. Therefore, it has only dreams that are decayed after some time, because those dreams can't be realized. The caged bird can't make those dreams come true. So, it is living a very sad life. It can't even dream nice dreams. It can dream only nightmares, very frightening dreams, because it does not have enough power. It is not happy in the cage. That's the most important thing. Whatever we have in our lives, first thing we need is happiness. Even if we do any kind of job, even if we do anything in the world, but the most important thing is that we need to be happy in whatever we do. So, it is not happy. Of course, it is provided interesting food items, maybe delicious food items, but still it is not happy in the cage, because it needs freedom. When it comes to a bird, flying is the freedom. It needs that freedom. So, it longs for that freedom. While being in the cage, it longs for that freedom. So, it has a positive thought that one day it can be a free bird, like the free bird who is already in the outside sky. Night may scream. Night may scream. So, it has only nightmares. The caged bird has only nightmares, because it is so frightening. It is so terrified. What would happen next? So, it has only nightmare dreams. So, it is not happy. When you are not happy, you can't have happy dreams. When you are sad, you can see only sad dreams. So, that is something obvious. So, since the caged bird is not happy, it has only nightmares. Night may scream. So, it's maybe screaming, it's so frightened while being in the cage. These words and phrases really contribute to evoke loneliness, to create loneliness, solitude, being alone, and the sorrowful state of the caged bird. They make the pathetic situation, the sad situation of the caged bird deeper and very serious. These words and phrases really contribute to evoke loneliness, solitude, and the sorrowful state of the caged bird. They make the pathetic situation of the caged bird deeper and very serious. The gentle words and phrases such as floats, orange sun rays, and dips his wings are used to highlight the way the free bird enjoys its life to the fullest. So, Maya Angelou has used a very soothing set of words to describe the luxurious life the free bird is having. So, all these words and phrases are connected with comfort in life, are connected with luxurious nature of life. So, that is how she uses different sets of words for the caged bird and also for the free bird. For the free bird, she uses very comfortable kind of words, very soothing words. So, that is how she differentiates the lives of the caged bird and the free bird. So, that is how Maya Angelou differentiates the lives of the poor, the sad life the poor are having, and also the happy life the haves are having in society. The gentle words and phrases such as floats orange sun rays and dips his wings are used to highlight the way the free bird enjoys its life to the fullest. Let us look at the theme of the poem. The poetess deals with the matter of freedom. The theme is what the message the poetess has in the poem. The poetess deals with the matter of freedom. Definitely this is about freedom. She metaphorically takes the free bird and the cage bird to deal with the segregation, isolation and alienation, that means separation from the rest in society, and compartmentalization, that means you put different groups of people in different categories based on maybe wealth, based on caste, or based on class or gender, or based on political ideologies. Compartmentalization and marginalization, that means some people are cornered thinking they are poor, thinking they are underprivileged. That is how the society has been stratified, divided as the lower class and the upper class, or as the middle class. Marginalization of humankind as so called free and so called imprisoned. The theme of the poem deals with social disparity, social difference which exists due to many reasons. The poetess discusses the oppression, suppression and struggle for survival of the lower classes or unprivileged masses in capitalistic societies, where humans are divided according to their class, wealth, skin color, gender and political ideology. So, here the poetess Maya Angelou discusses about social disparity, which makes people to be in different categories based on their wealth, based on their class, based on their political ideologies, based on their gender, or maybe based on their skin color. In Maya Angelou's case, the problem was the skin color, the black and the white. So, I think you enjoyed the lesson very much, and I hope that you got a better idea about this poem, what is in the poem, the theme of the poem, what really Maya Angelou wants to convey to the reader through the poem. So, with another lesson, let us meet again. Till then, have a nice day.